Welcome to Campfire Wisdom. Grab a seat around the fire and tell us your story.
All right, we're good. We're live.
Is my swallowing loud for my teeth?
Give me a little audio check. Yep, it's a little loud, but it's okay. It's real. Welcome back to Campfire Wisdom, everybody.
Oh, we didn't put the fire on.
Oh, we didn't put the fire on. We
Hold
can
on.
do that. Let's do the fire. So we are at our humble abode, and we meant to do a podcast while we were out at Death Valley, but there really wasn't a place to sit down, so we just kind of cruised around, and we were starving by the time we got out of there, so we are adapting here, and we're going to do a digital fireplace. So for those of you who can't get out, maybe it's about just setting an intention, having the mentality of a fireplace. So we're doing that as we speak. By the way, while she's doing this, this is live, happening live, there is an element of danger here. So Ghysla is on call, and she's a nurse, and she saves babies, and she's amazing. And she may get called out. They may need her skills. So if she gets called out, we're going to have to just stop, and then unfortunately, you're just going to have me.
Oops.
So
I'll mute it.
they were muted. So we've got the fire log in the background, but it is muted. So
Leave it to the woman to start the fire.
there you go. That's true. Now I start a mean fire though.
Wait, watch how big this is going to get.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining me here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You can laugh. This is out of your comfort zone. I get it.
It's a little weird
It's a little
talking
weird.
to you like this.
Well, because you know it's being recorded, right?
We don't just sit down and talk like this.
No, we don't. It's very. This is very.
We're always doing something.
I know, that's true. It's like a set intention. It's funny. It feels very natural because obviously I've been doing it for a long time.
It does
but
not feel natural.
No. Well, what's the? Tell me a little bit about. Obviously, you know, you've been listening to my podcast. Thank you very much, babe. What excites you about camping? I will say. Let me say one thing first. That I think you're an amazing camper, which is cool because within less than 3 months when we were dating, her and I went on a 10-day camping trip up to Yosemite and a bunch of different areas with just me and my buddy. So it was me and my buddy and her, and we didn't shower.
Other people joined us.
Eventually, yeah, but I mean, it was just you and I and Alex in that truck, and we were just
Oh,
shoveling
yeah,
around,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I thought that was tremendous leap of faith on your part, because I know most girls
Well,
would not do
David
that.
and his girl were there too in the beginning.
Yeah, but they stayed for 2 days.
Okay.
You were there, and you endured no showering.
I see. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I appreciated that, and I think that's, like I said, most girls would not undertake that. So.
Well, just because I didn't take a shower doesn't mean I didn't clean myself every day.
Well, how did you get around that?
You know.
Well, yeah, but we have to explain this for an audience who.
Just body wipes.
Okay.
Lots and lots of body,
Lots of body
wipes.
wipes.
And dry shampoo.
Which are pretty amazing. If you guys are at all concerned about getting out there and camping and staying clean, she figured out this way because that was her concern. It was these really thick, big, padded wipes from REI that essentially mimics a shower.
They're kind of cloth-like, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Single use, of course.
Yeah. Of course.
And the bathrooms in Yosemite are nice because they have electric-powered blowers. So, like if you have to wash your pants, like I did, then you could wash them in the sink and dry them off.
Yeah, we should tell them that story. You want to tell the story?
No, you tell it.
Okay. So, one thing I love about Ghysla is she ups our camping game in the cooking department. So, Alex and I tend to just bring, like, I think the last camper trip we brought bread and cheese in 3 different meals. So we had pizza that we brought, then we had tortillas and cheese, and then we had tortillas and cheese the next meal because we just try to keep it simple, right?
Oh my goodness.
Maybe a little bit of laziness in there, but not wanting to bring a bunch of stuff and just kind of being real quick and agile. But So Geese likes the stove and all the pots and pans, and I really appreciate that too. I like it. So on this particular morning, so keep in mind, this is a morning when you usually,
This is our last morning there.
This is the last morning there. So Geese is making breakfast, and breakfast is, consisting of eggs, and what did we have? Some of the beans, right?
Maybe veggie sausage.
Some veggie
tortillas.
sausage, tortillas. So very, very nice, like omelet style breakfast. Like,
Well, normally it's scrambled eggs-ish.
right.
But this morning in particular, because it was our last day, we only had like a few whole eggs left. We decided to do sunny side up.
Yeah, sunny side up. So the great thing is she serves a plate to me, and then she serves a plate to Alex. And then, no, actually, I take that back.
Yeah.
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 And then you served yourself. And then she was cleaning up, and because with that stove, it's kind of nice if you clean everything up partially before you wrap it up for whatever the session. And then she sits down, and she's like, "Where the hell's my breakfast?" Well,
it was really cold. It was November, so I had like long johns on and then jeans, so I couldn't feel much of heat. And everybody was like looking around, looking for the plate of eggs. Couldn't find it. And then I started feeling my butt getting warm.
So she stands up, and of course she had sat in her dish, and there was like yolk running down her pants, and it was hilarious. So that was why she had to end up washing her pants there. Kind of funny. Yeah. But yeah, I really love that you bring a different level to the cooking department. So I appreciate that. And in no way is that a misogynistic statement, by the way.
Oh, I don't take it as that.
Okay, good. I think it's amazing. So, and by the way, doing camping, vegetarian, she's got some skills. So the veggie sausage and doing vegetable stuff. So I've now adapted that to myself. And actually, I've adapted that to myself in entirety. I owe that to you.
Except when you're camping on your own with Alex.
No, we do veggie stuff.
Oh, yeah. Just not the cooking part.
Not the cooking part, no. But, I mean the vegetarian stuff in general. So I'm going to live longer thanks to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
longer to be a pain in my ass.
Yeah, vice versa. I've never met someone that I want to love and choke at the same time.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
You're welcome. So what got you into camping? What do you like about it?
Well, we camped when we were growing up, so it was never a foreign thing.
Okay.
And we always had fun. Not with like my family per se, but like we would go camping with the church and just hanging out with other kids. Or when we'd go up to Idlewild, my sister and I would go in the back, and they would just let us go and play by ourselves in the woods and didn't have any idea where we were, and we liked that. We would always just like play house in the woods when we would find branches of leaves to like be the what is it called, the broom, and like dust our house. But
that's cute.
But so I don't know, I've always kind of just camped, and I just like getting outside. I like hiking far more than you do.
Yes.
So I like going camping because I like going on cool hikes.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to just go camping and not hike, I think that might be a little boring.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely enjoy the cooking part because I like cooking anyways. And I enjoy cooking like a good breakfast and a good dinner. And I enjoy the process of preparing, like at home before we leave, what we're going to have on, not necessarily which nights, but, a night of pasta or a night of, rice and beans or that kind of stuff. I like I like organizing things like that. So
yeah, absolutely. And I will say, I never thought of bringing beans but beans are so versatile. You can do any meal with it. You know what I mean? It's pretty amazing, actually.
I feel like they're quintessential camping food.
I think so, but you usually think, put a can of beans on the fire and you're going to burn the shit out of your hands.
Oh, I
I've
wouldn't
done that
think
so
that.
many times now. Because usually, trust me, if it was beans with the white folk, it'd be ranch style beans. That's what it is, in a fucking can. Like,
What is that, like baked beans? What are ranch beans?
it's like, yeah, it's kind of like baked beans, but they have like a sauce, like a flavored barbecue stylish sauce in it. But
Oh, what is that called? Barbecue baked beans, right?
that's called barbecue baked beans, but
Oh.
those are sweet. There's a
Oh.
particular brand called ranch style that I
Oh.
grew up with.
Mm.
And they're pretty good, but when I would go camping out, that's what we'd bring. But at some point, I was like, this is bullshit. I burn the shit out of myself. If I don't bring a glove, I'm fucked. I can't even get the can out of the fire. There's been a couple times where I couldn't get the can out of the fire, so I said, screw it. Just leave it in there.
It's such a man mentality. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? It's burnt.
You make the beans beforehand. You put them in a spill-proof container, and then you bring them and you put them in your pot to heat them up.
True, but you don't feel like a cowboy when you're...
Oh, cowboys don't dump their beans into the fire.
True, but cowboys were maybe a little more prepared in some cases. We had a chance to watch this movie that actually Geese turned me on to. You want me to talk about it, or?
Sure.
Okay. So we watched this movie called Trophy
On Netflix.
And it pairs very well with the last conversation that Nick and I had about trophies. And the crux of the film is basically finding that balance between what hunters might say is conservation and what naturalists or animal rights activists might say preservation.
Or humanists.
Humanness is what they would call it. True.
I don't know.
But I thought it brought up some interesting points, you know? What do you think?
Yeah, it didn't sway my thinking really, although I guess in the case of the rhinoceros, I see their point on, that one man who had the ranch and raises and farms the rhinos, and every 2 years he shaves their horns off in order for poachers to not kill them, to cut their horns off. I understand that mentality. I just feel that it's really a sad place that we are. Like, we created this place of being stuck between a rock and a hard place, of having that be the better solution than just, hey, don't fucking kill animals.
I know.
Just don't do it.
I know. Yeah, the whole idea of poaching just seems so... makes me angry.
Yeah, and that's where, I don't really feel like poaching and hunting are entirely different. The reasonings are different. And whether you agree with hunting and not poaching, it's just your ideas behind it. But the bottom line is the same. They're both killing animals.
Very true. But one is legal and sanctioned, and the other one is illegal and punishable by law,
Yeah, that's the sad part too.
Yeah. Well, I think there is something to be said about that, independent of the whole hunting conversation, we can both agree that poaching is absolutely fucking terrible. And it's funny, when I was younger, my buddy Ike loves rhinos. Rhinos are one of his favorite.
His spirit animal?
I think it's his spirit animal. That's a good way to put it.
Uh-huh.
Ike would be like, you guys are a bunch of hippies.
Uh-huh.
But I think rhino would be his spirit animal. And when we were probably teenagers, we were like, we should go hunt poachers in Africa. We were just retarded. We're like, how can we hunt poachers? Because we wanted to kill poachers.
Uh-huh.
But that would be a job that I could absolutely, completely kill another human. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
That's wrong too.
That's wrong too, but what they're doing is so bad that I would feel comfortable.
What did that guy say in the documentary? I liked it. He says, you can't lose your humanity for the humanity.
True.
And that would constitute losing your humanity.
Yeah, it might, but doesn't that make
karma.
you angry? What
and
you
karma.
saw? Doesn't that make you angry though?
Of course it
They
does.
just fucking slaughter animals and just take their fucking horns.
Yeah, but so does the legal, like that asshole who was over there killing the big five, you know, and here lions are on the endangered species list and he doesn't give a shit and he's going out there and he killed it anyways. Like, why? And it was legal at, you know, because he had this contract or whatever beforehand and he's with this private sanctuary in Africa, but doesn't change the fact that it's still an endangered species and he just shot one and there's just one less in the world now because of him.
True. The only thing I will say about that is, in my opinion, this is the lamest, you know, they got the big five, but he's hunting a farmed animal. So the lion is farmed and then
and is baited by no less than 5 different dead animals that they shoot just to hang in trees.
Stupid.
And then he hangs out in his little pussy tent that's camouflaged so that he could shoot this animal. Like, it's just a whole big facade and he's a douchebag.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. It's like, why? Do you really get your rocks off of that? Do you really get excited from, like, that's not the whole...
Yes, he was crying. That was probably the happiest day of his life.
Well, I think he had some daddy issues.
I don't give a shit. Who doesn't have daddy issues? Give me a break.
True. But it just seems so stupid because you're in a blind, you're totally protected. The animal's being baited. It's farmed, so it knows it has to be fed on its own. It's not going to go hunt its own meat. So you're just going to shoot it while it's eating. That's fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. So that goes against any sport or any, like, challenge or risk or danger that is out there. Like, he's not even hiking miles and miles to try to find an animal. That's it's going to be more lame. And the animal truly has no chance.
No.
You know what I mean? That's the part of it.
Well, the thing is, when you're killing an animal with a rifle, the animal never has a chance.
Would you be more comfortable with bow hunting?
No, not in this era, no.
Okay. Just curious. Because for me, I'm wrestling with the fact that rifles seems a little weak as like, when you see them doing it, and I haven't done it in such a long time, I'm not even familiar, I'm not even sure how comfortable I am. I definitely want to experiment with it, but it seems like it's cheating. It seems like the animal, even with you tracking it down and all that stuff, doesn't have a chance. And I could see why people would bow hunt, because it does give the animal more of a shot, because you have to be very good at the shot and you have to be close. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, we could go back 4,000 years and you could find stone and make an arrow and find your own wood and make a bow, and then you can hunt and kill an animal and then feed the entire village, and then it would be totally fine. But we live in a evolutionary society and we're not there anymore. We're in a place where we do not need to kill animals in order to live anymore. And if we stop evolving, then what happens?
You see man evolving away from hunting animals. Is that right? You don't
Correct.
think we should kill them?
Well, I just feel like we did what we needed to at the time in order to survive, and that's no longer a survival necessity.
Okay.
So why still do it?
Okay.
I mean, you have to progress and you have to evolve and you have to move forward. So why are you holding on so tightly to something antiquated?
Gotcha. I'll be honest, like I'm wrestling with it because I do see the sanctity of, like, certain, it's weird. It's like hunting a wild pig doesn't really concern me, but a deer, I know right now I couldn't take a deer or a buck.
Like that little kid did in the documentary?
Yeah.
That was so disgusting.
And that was the same thing. He was shooting it from a blind, like, it was just gross.
Is that what it's called, a blind?
It's a blind, yeah, because the animals can't see it. It's
I like my
camouflage.
word for it better.
What'd you call it?
A pussy tent.
A pussy tent. In a different context, it could mean something totally different. Yeah, like, I don't know. I mentioned before, I like the tradition of it. I like getting outside, the adventure of it, the hiking part, and maybe my dad, I think he evolved away from it, and we would actually go hunting with our cameras. So that's something that my dad evolved
What do you
into.
mean?
Instead of hunting with rifles, my dad didn't go hunting anymore. He just, and I have to
Went
ask him.
hiking. It's called hiking.
Right, but he would say, let's go hunting with our cameras. That's what he would say.
Oh, I see. Because you're shooting them with your camera.
You're shooting them with your cameras, right?
I see.
So at some point, he evolved away from that. And I don't know what that was all about, if it was a safety thing. I'll actually have to ask him, especially as we're talking about this. One thing that I will say about that movie Trophy is that guy John Hume, with the idea of the rhino horns, he could totally bring back the population just by selling the horn that he is able to harvest.
Well, they made it legal.
Yeah, they did. I wonder how he's doing, you know?
I'm assuming that wasn't too long ago, so I'm sure the stats aren't totally up to date, but I would be very interested to see if that does cut down poaching, because then I guess I'm all for it, but
yeah,
like I said, it's still a sad state to be in. That's the lesser of two evils.
That's true. I'm going to look up John Hume real quick. John Hume rhino. Let's see if there's any recent news. So that was August 20th of 2017. It's now legal to sell rhino horn.
Okay.
Rhino horn auction. So you can own rhino horn on the web.
So, but then what is he going to do with this big farm of hundreds or thousands of rhinos? They're not like free, really.
Yeah,
I mean, it's on acres and acres and acres and acres of land, but it's
they're not
still
wild. I know. He's feeding them. I guess he's keeping them. Wow. Registered.
You know
rhino
what then's
horn.
going to happen? You know what fucking hunters are going to say? It's going to get so overpopulated with rhinos, they're going to set them up and have them shot for fun, too. And then they were like, oh, we're conserving. There's an overpopulation. Tell me I'm not right.
No, you're right. But
Assholes.
But no one can argue the fact that certain habitats can only sustain a certain amount of animals. It's like when the rabbit was brought to Australia, that was brought as a pet, it escaped, and now it's ravaged the fucking land. Like you can kill fucking rabbits in Australia, no problem, because they just have decimated the...
Yeah, because of man's stupidity once again.
True. My point being, what was my point? Oh, my point being is that habitat can only sustain a certain amount of animals. And you're, at that point, harvesting an animal that is going to put stress on that habitat. So that part I totally understand. Like the wild boars, they're like, please kill them. They're fucking shit up. You know what I mean? They're rooting around. They're eating all the vegetation that other livestock that, in most cases, it's actually... encroaching on like deer and other animals that are more natural to the habitat, where the pigs have just kind of invaded.
Well, that's the thing. He's raising all these rhinos now, and what do they eat? Probably mostly vegetation, right? You're not taking into account like the diminished amount of rhinos has happened over years and years and years, and now all of a sudden there's this boom of rhinos. You don't have the vegetation to support that. Like, everything changed. It's linear, you know, like this thing eats this and that eats that and that eats that. And you can't just say, okay, I'm going to save the rhino because I love the rhino, and yet not save all the other stuff underneath it that supports it. Like, you're throwing the whole ecosystem off. And that's when we were watching the documentary, and I thought, like, yeah, that sucks if you know, elephants or exotic animals, lions, like they become extinct, but maybe that's what happens. Like maybe that's just the evolution, and it's shitty because it was man inflicted, but maybe that's just what happens in the end.
I guess it's sad because, you know, like you want to see that animal around, because it's like, can you imagine like there being no more lions? It's like you're a kid, you're taught lion, that's an elephant, that's this. It's like you don't want to think about that being the case. I think that's leaves such a bad taste in everybody's mouths. Like that's something everyone could agree on. No one wants to see those animals extinct. But I agree with you. It's like, how do you find a balance? I think there's definitely like Yeah, I don't know. Hunting lions, it just seems stupid. There are certain animals that are higher up, and I know that that animal rights people will be like, "There's no hierarchy. There's an animal." It's like, but the truth is, you step on ants or you kill cockroaches and you pet your dog, or you shoot varmints or put out traps for mice, and you have a hamster. There is a hierarchy, and that doesn't mean you.
Sure, it's what we've here in the U.S. deemed domesticated, but it's not the same worldwide.
It's not the same worldwide, but right, like they're saying, lions are pests. Like, remember, it killed that guy's livestock, and it stressed out his whole family, and there's always a chance of them killing.
Yeah, that's a totally different environment, though. They are living what looks like the bush of Africa.
Yep.
And their means to a safety cage is what they said they put thorns on the doors.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that? It's child's play for a lion, you know?
I know.
But this is their reality. This isn't our reality. We are the ones going over there and paying $30,000 to shoot and kill a lion. You know, that's what, like, oh, good old America, here we come to the rescue. We'll kill your lions for you. No, bitch. It's because of your ego.
Yeah, it's because of the ego. But it does sound like that tribe that benefited from the elephant being killed, that, you know.
Well, their government, not ours, their government allows certain amount of elephants each, month, 1 or 2, something like that, to be killed and butchered for their meat because they actually eat it.
But
we don't go over there and eat their elephants.
Right, but
no, we just hunt it because, again, of our ego and money.
Right. But they're able to, it's an elephant that would normally be killed anyways, so they're able to charge a hunter to kill it. That seems to make sense to me.
It's just sugarcoating and exploiting a way for a rich man in America or Canada. It's American and Canadians are the #1 hunters of big game out there. It's just our way of saying this is legal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree.
Because they could shoot and kill them, but they're not going to get $30,000 or $40,000 for it.
Right. So in that way.
And the fact that that money is paid, that does not go to the people. The people get the meat.
The people get the meat. The government gets the money with the intention, hopefully, that they're helping their people. But it's very corrupt.
I don't think the government gets their money. Their African government does not get their money.
Well, that money goes to
those people that were walking with it, which they probably deserve some of that money.
Right.
For the, what is it called? What's that legal papers stuff that goes behind having to do all these? Like a lot of those were even just auctioned. That's not going to the people, those poor people that can't even afford like proper structures to keep their chickens safe.
Yeah, but it's
if it were, then they wouldn't have a problem with lions tearing their chickens out of their coops. But
there's some part of it that goes towards the government because it's government sanctioned. It's the government would say sign off on it. You know what I mean?
I would debate that, but I don't have the facts in front of me.
Yeah, well, in the same way when
things aren't ever as nice as they seem.
Okay, that's true, but there is a level of bureaucracy that covers it. Like, for example, you buy a hunting license here, it goes to the California Game and Fish, you know, or what, Fish and Wildlife, sorry, in California. It's Fish and Game in Arizona. But we hope that money...
And yeah, show me the breakdown. Show me the breakdown of that money going to the government and which areas it's covered. Show me that, and then I'll believe your argument.
Okay, well, in the United States, it goes definitely to the government organization.
Yeah, but what is the government doing with that money?
Well, the fishing...
I want to see the breakdown.
Okay, well, the Fish and Wildlife, that department has the rangers on the lands. They maintain, like, fisheries, lakes.
Oh, gross,
like
farm fish. No.
Well, they restock, dude. All the lakes here have farmed fish. That's how they restock.
I'm not saying this is a good thing.
Okay. But they maintain that for sport.
You're farming fish in a bad and shitty environment. You're taking them to, a remote lake, scatter them around just so people can fish them, or go out fishing, kill them, eat them.
Do you have the same relationship to fish as you do mammals?
Yes, why wouldn't I?
No, but
I
you don't like to fish?
Have you ever seen me fishing?
No, but you've talked about it, that you would actually entertain the idea of fishing.
No, I didn't. I would go with you on a boat,
Okay.
but I would not fish.
Then. Okay.
Your whole catch and release is just like a little torture game. You're just dangling a little fruit in front of a fish, saying, here, fishy, come eat. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm going to rip your lower lip off first, and then I'm going to throw you back into the water. But you're going to be fine because you're still alive, and I can't see you anymore because you don't breathe air like we do.
And we're going to end this segment. No, I hear you. I hear you. But there's something, being an outdoorsman and like engaging with animals, it's like,
you could be an outdoorsman and you can engage with animals, and yet you still don't have to shoot them.
no, I understand that. And like I
kill
said,
them.
I mentioned I'm not a guy who wants to go out and just randomly kill animals. I'm wrestling with the whole idea. Fishing, I don't have a problem with. I'll be honest. Like, I grew up fishing a lot, and I like it. Southern California sucks for fishing. Let that be said.
And that's fine, because I guess I don't see it as, I don't know, offensive as you. Because, sure, if you want to take our kids out fishing, fine. Fish, catch and release style, because we don't eat fish, and I don't cook fish, and they won't eat fish. But, yeah, they're never going to go hunting with you, not until they're 18.
Okay. We talked about that. Or I should
Where
say,
you called me, what
naive.
did you say?
I said you were naive.
Naive to think that the kids wouldn't want to go spend time with you.
I think juniors,
hunting.
and shit, the truth is, you know, who knows what'll happen, but I think they might be all, you know, if I'm hunting at that point, and they're like, I want to go hunting. And I'll be, you eat.
Like, I want $1 million, baby. We don't all get what we want in life.
You have to convince you're going to have to convince your mother is what it's going to take. So
That's not going to happen.
Be their job.
Nope.
Well, if they're as good as you at, you know, manipulation.
Manipulation.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding on that.
I'm a nurse, for crying out loud. I help keep beings alive. I'm not going to go around killing them. Any being, for that matter.
I know. I'm totally kidding when I said that. But, yeah, they have their work cut out for them. They'll just say that.
Oh, or kids who were going to be raised vegetarian who were automatically going to just want to go hunt and kill an animal. Oh, okay. I think you got your work cut out for you, mister.
Okay, maybe I did. That could be the case. I may be a dying breed.
Do you know who they're dealing with here?
I may be a dying breed. That's true. I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
How do you feel? Anything you want to say? No? Anything you want to declare?
No, why are you looking at me like that?
No, I just love where you ended. That's a perfect ending.
Okay, then we should end it.
Yeah, we should end it. We will. Thank you so much for taking the time and for risking your on-call time. She's actually sitting here ready to go in her nursing outfit.
Bound and chained to the couch. Don't forget that.
Chained.
I had no choice in this
She
matter.
had no choice. Wow. Do you see that, guys? Sometimes I do win in this household. But thank you for stopping by, and we'll have you on again. So, and I love you, and I appreciate your support, and that might be your call.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah, twins are going to San Diego.
All right, she's off to San Diego. That's a great way to go. Well, thanks, guys, for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Campfire Wisdom is brought to you from the hills of Rancho Cucamonga. We'd like to thank the men and women that protect our national parks and forests. You make this journey possible. Theme music by Sean Cromwell.